So in my journey to find the perfect low profile mechanical keyboard, I've gone ahead and bought this brand new one that came out from Satechi. This is the SM1. It is a tactile low profile mechanical keyboard. It does come in two color options. I have here the light gray / white one, and I do have another couple of keyboards here on the desk. I can't see if you guys can see them. I have the MX keys as well as the Newfie Air 75 V2. So I will be comparing it to these two, as well as kind of providing a review on specifically the Satechi SM1 and whether I think you should buy it. Now, low profile mechanical keyboards have been around for a long time. You have keyboards from Apple, the Logitech MX keys, which has long been a kind of more productivity focused keyboard. And I think the reasoning for that is because it was low profile. With the low profile keyboard, you can actually get a lot more work done without getting any wrist pain, no carpal tunnel, none of that. You can just kind of get all your work done, as well as typing pretty fast, because it does feel like you're typing on a laptop. But in the past couple of years, because of that mechanical keyboard craze that has kind of been blowing up, a lot of companies started making mechanical keyboards. Even the company like Logitech went ahead and made a Logitech MX mechanical, which is going to be kind of that step up, or the iteration that's going to come after the MX keys. They do have another kind of half step that they call the MX keys S, which does have a slight upgrade, slight spec bump. It does have a few different keys, but it's still not any different than you would get from the regular MX keys. The MX Mechanical, on the other hand, is a completely different redesigned keyboard. It does bring in the mechanical switches because it is, like I said, one of the largest crazes in the past couple of years. And Satechi is one of those brands that has long been making Mac accessories. They make a lot of USB docks that are for Mac. I personally really like their aesthetic. It does kind of fit that Apple aesthetic, especially when you look at some of their options for like the Mac Mini that fit the Mac Mini perfectly, allow you to add more storage, as well as kind of making it fit seamlessly with the Mac Mini or with the Mac Studio now. And then they also have another keyboard that they offer that does fit that Mac aesthetic. It actually looks very similar to the Apple keyboard that they offer, but it is made from Satechi. It's very affordable. It's right around that $60 to $100 price point. So I think it's also another good option. A lot of people have owned this. It has a lot of great reviews. So naturally, when they released a mechanical option, I went with this keyboard to see what they were all about. And unfortunately, I didn't really like this keyboard. I am going to be sending it back, and I'll get into the specifics here in a little bit as to why I didn't like it. But first, I want to talk about what this keyboard does offer and why it can be a good option for you if you're going to be kind of in this pool of people. And the biggest group of people that I think are going to enjoy this keyboard is someone that just wants to kind of set and forget. You buy this keyboard, it connects to your Mac, it works well. You're not really looking to customize anything. You're just going to get it off the shelf, set it up, and then just use it as is without really looking for anything extra. That's going to be a huge market for this keyboard. It's very similar to the MX Mechanical. You'll even see with the aesthetic, they still have that white and light gray options going on. They also have the tactile browns, and you also can switch the switches themselves. They are proprietary switches in this keyboard, so there's not hot swap. Like I said, you can't really change anything. You're just going to use it and use it as is. And it does have a lot of the same features that you will get from any other low profile keyboard. You do have the Bluetooth connection, so you can connect it to your devices, and you also get a USB dongle in case you don't want to use Bluetooth. You can use that USB dongle to hook this up to your computer instead. And then when it does come to the aesthetic of the keyboards, they did go with the light option. I really like this aesthetic. It's pure white with some light brown accents. It does look a little bit like the MX keys. And like I've mentioned before, a lot of my keyboards do look kind of the same. So I do like that this keyboard does have some accents. And then when it comes to the keycaps themselves, they are shine through keycaps, which is really great because if you go for any of the other more custom keyboards, they all have that double shot PBT keycaps, which won't allow you to really see that backlight on the back of the keyboard. Something that I do think that might be a little bit better from the MX Keys Mechanical is that the MX Keys Mechanical have that gimmick where they will only light up if you get close to them, or obviously if they detect they're in a dark room, but otherwise they will stay off. Whereas with this keyboard, you have to choose the light setting from the start, which you can change it with a button on the keyboard itself, but you can't kind of make it turn on only when you're in a dim room. You can have them either always on, always off, and you do have other options kind of between different light cycle modes if you want to set a different kind of mode, but you do have to choose whether you want it on or off, and there's no in between. So overall, this keyboard doesn't really offer anything new in a sense. It's all pretty much basic stuff. You get the Bluetooth, the USB dongle, backlit keys, tactile mechanical keys, and it honestly works well, which is, like I said, if you're in that pool of people that just want something off the shelf that's going to work great, this is a great option for you. But if you don't fall into that pool of people like myself, then this keyboard is definitely not going to be for you. It is a very basic keyboard that offers all of the basics only. So there is no hot swap. You can't change out the switches, and they are proprietary switches. So even if they do go bad, it is going to be very difficult to get them replaced. And then there is no software on this keyboard that you can use to customize any of the keys. And I personally don't really need, in a sense, all of my keyboards to be compatible with QMK and VIA. But I do like that even something as simple as the MX keys, where you can change some of the keys to kind of be something else through the Logi Options Plus app. So I would have appreciated if Satechi maybe released some software that could allow you to kind of customize at least some of these keys rather than no customization at all. And like I mentioned, I do like the aesthetic of the keyboard, but the keycaps and keycaps options, you only do get two different designs. You get the light mode and the dark mode. They're both going to be tactile. You don't really have much other options in terms of what switch, whether you want a linear, a tactile, or a clicky. You only get the brown tactile, and then you have to choose between a light mode and a dark mode, and that's pretty much it. Basically, the only customization that you can do to this keyboard is setting the different levels that you want to type on. It does come with a couple of kickstand feet, so you can decide what typing angle you want, but that's pretty kind of normal. That's pretty basic. That comes on a lot of the other low profile keyboards, but it does come with this keyboard in case you're interested in that. And then the second biggest pain point for me is going to be that this keyboard has a lot of spring ping. Now, if you don't know what spring ping is, inside a mechanical switch, there is a spring that contracts and retracts every time you press and let go of the key. And if that spring isn't correctly lubed or lubed enough, it will start to ping every time you let it go, because it's just the metal and obviously just what a spring does whenever it just kind of springs back to its normal shape. And this keyboard has a lot of that, especially on the spacebar, which is one of the most used keys. So unfortunately, that is very annoying with this keyboard, and it's one of the major reasons why I'm sending it back. And then the other reason why I'm sending it back is going to be because it doesn't come with that QMK, VIA, or even software customization. So you can't really change any of the keys. They're all already preset to their normal keys, and you can't change that at all. Now, I personally am someone that likes using hotkeys. I like editing with my mechanical keyboards. So I do like when you can change some of the keys in the actions that they do, so that you can have a lot of the macros kind of already enabled into your keyboard. And like I mentioned earlier, I do use the MX keys a lot to work here and at work. I have a full size at work, and they're really comfortable to type on, and even they offer slight customization with some of the function row keys through the Logi Options Plus app. So even something as simple as that would have been great on this keyboard, especially because my monitor here, the LG 5K, has a lot of hotkeys that would work well with this keyboard. So just being able to input those into the function keys would have been great. And then the last, or really the least kind of reason why I'm returning it, is because it doesn't really offer anything different. It doesn't have a different design. The typing feel isn't really that different. The color options are the same. It still has a little bit of aluminum with a lot of plastic in this keyboard. It basically is just the same as any other low profile keyboard out there. You can get one similar from Keychron for the same price that's going to offer a little bit more customization. If you want something that's going to be a little more design driven, there are other options out there as well. Which brings me to all of the alternatives to this keyboard that you can get. If we're going to be staying within the same price range, obviously one of the biggest companies is going to be Keychron. They offer a lot of low profile keyboards in different configurations. So if you don't want just a 75%, They have definitely other options out there. They're still Bluetooth. They come with QMK, which this one doesn't have, and they still have that USB dongle in case you want to use a 2.4 gigahertz connection instead. Now, if you're more into the design of the keyboard, Newfie also makes other keyboards that are going to be a little more aesthetically pleasing. I personally like this Newfie 75, Air 75 is what it's called, V2. It does come with QMK VIA compatibility. You get a lot more switch options that you can choose from, and they do have 3 different sizes. So you can go with a 60, a 75, or a 98%, which comes with a number key, or I guess the number pad, so you guys can use that more for productivity. And then there's another company called Lofree that also makes a low profile mechanical keyboard. I like their design a little bit more than both of these because that other design is a little bit different and it's made more to look more custom. It doesn't really have the rubberized feet that all of these other options have. It has some metallic feet. It does have a little bit more aluminum than these keyboards, and it still looks really great. But again, for myself, that's just another white keyboard, so I'm kind of staying away from the Lofree one. The one I'm really interested in is going to be this one from Work Louder. That's going to be coming out later in Q2 of this year. I haven't pre-ordered it, but I'm kind of waiting to see what other people are saying about it. I haven't heard of this brand, so I want to make sure that I'm ordering from a safe brand before I get basically my money taken away. And then the last option is going to be going with a safe bet, which is going with a Logitech MX mechanical keyboard. There's nothing wrong with the MX mechanical keyboards. I personally really like them, but they are going to be the safe option, whereas going with these other ones is going to offer more customizability. Luckily with Logitech, you do also get the Logi Options Plus, so you do get at least some customizability. It just won't be QMK or VIA compatible, but it definitely works great with Mac and with Windows. But I'm honestly really interested in that Work Louder keyboard. Have you guys heard of this company? Have you guys even seen this keyboard? Let me know down in the comments. What do you guys think of the Work Louder keyboard? Is that something you guys want to see a review on later on down the road when it releases? Let me know down in the comments. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Click here to watch another one of my videos, and I will catch you guys in the next one.